Hello and welcome back to Pi Education. In this series, we are discussing 5 most important questions that are being asked in University of Pune examination for the subject Signal and System. So this is our second video in this series, and today we are going to look at Unit 6 and the problem that has been asked in Unit 6. So I have about 8 question paper from the last 4 or 5 years, and I have collected one question that has been asked in nearly all of them. As you can see, there are about 5 questions here, and all these questions are essentially the same. So today we are going to look at what kind of questions we are getting here in this 6th unit. So this is the question which has been asked 5 times in last 8 papers, and this question is about explaining the properties of two functions. One is called cumulative distribution function, another is called probability distribution function, CDF and PDF. So you can see that in this questions we are basically asked to explain and state the properties of cumulative distribution function and probability distribution function, or probability density function. In fact, it has been written distribution function here, but anyway. So we have got these questions 5 times in the last 8 papers. So it's worth preparing for this question. First of all, I'm going to discuss CDF. So what is CDF? Okay, CDF means cumulative distribution function. Now it is also called distribution function only. Okay, so CDF is cumulative distribution function. Now we will ask ourselves, what is CDF? So let's start with that. So if capital X is a random variable, then function capital F R2R defined by the relation capital F of X small x equal to P probability, P means probability, capital X less than equal to X for all X element of real number. Okay, so our cumulative distribution function is basically this mathematical relationship between probability of the random variable and a real number. So this is for the continuous case. In discrete case, you can see that f of x is equal to summation of p xi for xi less than equal to x. So now we are going to look at its property. What are the property of this cumulative distribution function? Properties of CDF. What are the properties of CDF? We are going to look here. Capital F of x at minus infinity is equal to 0. Okay. Now the next property is that f of x plus infinity is equal to 1. Okay. So the CDF at infinity is equal to 1. Now the third property here is that f of x is between two numbers 0 and 1. So it is bounded by these two numbers 0 and 1. Okay, as you can see that at infinity is 0, minus infinity is 0, at plus infinity it is 1. So it must be bounded by these two values. And the next property, capital F of x small x is a monotonically increasing function. Okay, so what we mean by monotonically increasing function? It means that it is a non-decreasing function. Its value is either going to increase or it is going to remain constant. One way of expressing that mathematically is that f of x x1 is less than equal to f of x x2 for all x1 less than x2. So if x1 is less than x2, then CDF for x1 is either going to be less than x2 or it will be equal to x2, but it cannot be less than that. Okay. Now the fifth property of CDF is that f of x is a right continuous function. Continuous function. So what we mean by that? It means that f of x plus will be equal to f of x. But this value may not be equal to f of x minus. It means it is continuous from the right side and not from the left. Now, sixth property. It says that derivative of distribution function is PDF. F of x is small x. So derivative of CDF is our PDF. And the seventh property is probability that random variable x is between this limit x1 and x2 is equal to the value of CDF at x2 minus value of CDF at x1. Now these property are used to solve a particular numerical, which is again very important numerical from the university point of view, and which has been asked quite quite frequently. Probability density function. Okay, so the first property of this probability density function is that small f of x is always greater than equal to 0. It means it is a non-negative number. Okay, second property is that minus infinity to infinity f of x dx is equal to 1. And the third property is that probability that random variable x is between limit x1 to x2 is equal to x1 x2 integration small f of x dx. Is that clear? So these are the three property that are there for the PDF and CDF, and this question has been asked quite frequently, so you must prepare for this. There is a certain type of numerical that is being asked again on these property. We are going to discuss that next, so make sure to subscribe to our channel to watch that video as well. Thank you.